Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Raza and I am Subject Specialist English at Divisional Public School and College Sahiwal. How are you all students? I hope you will fine. Students, today we are going to start our lesson, that is formation of nouns from adjectives. First of all, we have to discuss about the adjectives of our lesson. By the end of the lesson, learners will be able to identify suffixes that differentiate a noun from an adjective, use certain suffixes to make noun from given adjectives, form nouns by removing certain suffixes from given adjectives, and finally convert adjectives into nouns. Students, there is a question in our mind. What is an adjective? You have learned in your previous classes that what is an adjective. I hope you all aware of that. So the question is, what is an adjective? So can anybody tell me what is an adjective? Yes, adjective is a word that describes a noun, that tells more about a noun and qualifies a noun. For example, you can see in this picture, there are some nouns like building, apple, candy, and some words are also describing that noun. Like red is describing the apple, sweet is describing the noun candy, and shiny, that is adjective, and it is describing star. The next question arises in our mind, that is, what is a noun? Almost all you know about that. Simply we can say that noun is the name of a person, place, thing, or any idea. As you can see in the picture, we have some nouns like baby, girl. In animals we have dog and cat. For place we have home, park, and in things we have car and sun. The other nouns like which are called abstract nouns like love, strength, and fear. Now the question arises in our mind, how to change adjectives into noun. Suffixes are the alphabets that are joined with the words to make new words. Students, we can form nouns from adjectives in different ways. By adding a suffix to an adjective, like if we have happy, we can add an ESS with it and it becomes happiness. By removing a suffix from an adjective, for example, famous. Famous is an adjective, and if we eliminate OUS, it becomes fame. By changing the spelling, we have different adjectives in which we can change the spelling to make nouns, and by using the same word as both adjective and noun, like diamond. Diamond is a noun, but it can be also used as an adjective, like diamond ring. Students, there are some rules to change adjective into noun. First rule we are going to discuss here, that is by adding an ESS suffix to an adjective. In all these words, we can use the suffix an ESS to make noun. For example, first adjective is ill. It attaches an ESS and becomes a noun, that is illness. Next is sick. Sick becomes sickness and harsh become harshness. Student, now I have a question for you, that you have to use some adjectives into noun by using suffix an ESS. Remember, you have to use dictionary to make this. Now we have a list of adjectives in front of you in the table. First adjective is bright, little, weak, nervous, mad, restful, fair, forgetful, foolish, awful, broad, and mild. Now think about these adjectives and try to make the nouns of these adjectives. You can use the dictionary as well. These are the nouns of these adjectives, like bright becomes brightness. We just add NESS with bright and it becomes brightness. So little becomes littleness, weak becomes weakness, nervous becomes nervousness, mad becomes madness, restful becomes restfulness, fair becomes fairness, forgetful becomes forgetfulness, foolish becomes foolishness, awful becomes awfulness, broad becomes broadness, and mild becomes mild. I hope you understand this rule of making nouns. There is another rule to make noun from adjective. If a word ends with Y, we replace Y with I and add NESS. For example, the first word is heavy. In this word, we are having the last alphabet, that is Y. We will eliminate alphabet Y and replace it with I and add NESS. It becomes heaviness. Same like that, lazy becomes laziness. You can see we have skipped Y and replaced it with I, and happy becomes happiness. We have another exercise for you to complete the table by replacing Y with I and adding NESS to make new nouns. Students, but don't forget to use dictionary. You can see in front of you, there is a table of some adjectives. They are 9. The first one is lonely. You can see here the last alphabet is Y. Just we have to eliminate this. Next is friendly, dizzy, lovely, empty, steady, crazy, lively, and cloudy. Now consult your dictionaries. You can see the first adjective lonely. We have just replaced Y with I and add NESS, so it becomes loneliness. Friendly becomes friendliness, dizzy becomes dizziness, lovely becomes loveliness, empty becomes emptiness, steady becomes steadiness, crazy becomes craziness, lively becomes liveliness, and cloudy becomes cloudiness. You can see in all examples we have just replaced Y with I and add NESS to make nouns. Another rule, by adding alphabet TH or suffix TH with adjectives. We form some nouns by adding TH to adjectives. But there is also some changes in the spellings. Like you can see adjective deep, it becomes depth. There is a change in the spelling of the word. We skip E and add P instead of E and attach TH. Broad becomes breadth, warm becomes warmth. In these 3 examples, there are some words in which we have changed the spellings, like broad and deep. Now we have another exercise for you, but don't forget the use of dictionary. See, the first word in the adjective is long, second one is young, third one is white, fourth one is dead, fifth one is strong, and the 6th one is true. Now remember, you have to change these adjectives into nouns by changing the spelling of the base word. Take some time and think about that. And don't forget that for the adjective high, we will not use the TH suffix. Instead, we will use HT suffix to make it noun. So high becomes height. I hope you all have got the nouns of these adjectives. Now come to the solution of this exercise. Students, you can see long becomes length. The adjective of long is length. Here we can see the change, a huge change in the spelling. We have replaced O with E and add TH. So long becomes length, young becomes youth, wide becomes width. In this adjective we have just skipped E and add TH. Dead becomes death, we have skipped D. Strong becomes strength and true becomes truth. By adding ty or ity to an adjective, if we add ty or ity to an adjective, we can make more nouns. For example, you can see here the first adjective is punctual. Punctual is an adjective, so we add ity suffix to make it noun, so it becomes punctuality. Superior becomes superiority and regular becomes regularity. Now come to another exercise, but don't forget the use of a dictionary. Now we have some adjectives in a table. You can see first adjective is real, second stupid, popular, major, peculiar, local, human, inferior, brutal, familiar, certain, and sensitive. Students, you just keep in mind you have to use ty or ity suffix to make it noun. Just think for a while and we will go towards our solution. I hope you got some nouns of these adjectives. You can see we just have first adjective real. We just add suffix ity with real and make it a noun, reality. Stupid becomes stupidity. We just add ity suffix. Popular becomes popularity. Major becomes majority. Peculiar becomes peculiarity. Local becomes locality. Human becomes humanity. Inferior becomes inferiority. Brutal becomes brutality. Familiar becomes familiarity. Certain becomes certainty. And sensitive becomes sensitivity. Sometimes if an adjective ends in ble suffix, we replace it with ity. Now here we just not only add a suffix, but we have to replace a suffix also in adjective. Examples. First adjective is edible, so it becomes edibility. We add ility suffix. Capable becomes capability. Able becomes ability. Now we have another exercise to solve or to understand this rule. Students, we have adjectives in front of us that are noble, tangible, possible, stable, disable, flexible, sensible, probable, solvable, feasible, stable, and divisible. Now think about that, but don't forget the use of dictionary. I hope that you have got the nouns of these adjectives, but here we also have the solution. You can see the first adjective is noble. Noble becomes nobility. We have add ity suffix and we have eliminated e. Tangible becomes tangibility. Possible becomes possibility. Stable becomes stability. Disable becomes disability. Flexible becomes flexibility. Sensible becomes sensibility. Probable becomes probability. Soluble become solubility. Feasible becomes feasibility. Stable becomes stability. And divisible becomes divisibility. I hope you are enjoying the lecture or you are also learning this lecture. Sometimes we change some spelling of the adjectives before adding ity. For example, here are some adjectives and their nouns, like prosperous becomes prosperity. You can see we have eliminated OUS and add ITY. Prosperous becomes prosperity. Same like that, generous become generosity. We have eliminated U in this example. Students, here we have another exercise for you, but don't forget the use of dictionary because it is very important and it also increases your vocabulary. Here are some adjectives in front of us. The first one is curious, second one is enormous, third one is homogeneous, and the fourth and last one is various. Now think about these adjectives and try to make the nouns from these adjectives. I hope you have gotten some nouns from these adjectives. We have also the solution, or we have also the nouns from these adjectives that are, we can see, curious becomes curiosity. We have just skipped U and add ity suffix with curious, so it becomes curiosity. Enormous becomes enormity, homogeneous becomes homogeneity, and various becomes variety. There is another rule to make nouns from adjectives, that is by adding CE. CE is also a suffix to make noun. CE is also a suffix to attach with adjectives for making nouns. In this rule, we just remove T at the end of the adjective and add CE instead of T. Examples. You can see, students, first adjective is absent, that becomes absence. We eliminated here T and replace it with CE. Resistant becomes resistance, present becomes presence. You should all have to be present in school always. Dominant becomes dominance, evidence becomes evidence, reluctant becomes reluctance. Students, we have also another activity or exercise for you. You have to just complete the table. You have to make nouns from adjectives by using the suffixes CE. But don't forget the use of dictionary. So, students, the first adjective is diligent, second is confident, third one is insolent, fourth one is vigilant, fifth one is eloquent, sixth one is violent, seventh one is independent, eighth one is brilliant, ninth one is magnificent, 10th one is prominent, silent, 11th number, and 12th is important. These are very easy. You have done maybe in your previous classes. Just think and use the dictionaries and try to get the nouns of these adjectives. Now we have also solution or nouns of this adjective by using the CE suffixes. So the first one is diligent, that becomes diligence. Confident becomes confidence. You can see we are just eliminating T or replacing T with CE suffixes. Insolent becomes insolence, vigilant becomes vigilance, eloquent becomes eloquence, violent becomes violence, independent becomes independence, brilliant become brilliance, magnificent become magnificence, prominent becomes prominence, silent becomes silence, and important becomes importance. Sometimes we add CY after removing T or TE of an adjective. For example, Potent become potency, urgent become urgency, literate become literacy. You can see we have replaced T with CY suffix to make nouns of these adjectives. Now another exercise for you. You have to complete the table, but don't forget the use of dictionary, it is important. You can see some adjectives in front of you. Decent, secret, intricate, frequent, competent, illiterate, emergent, vacant, and delicate. Now you have to make nouns of these adjectives by replacing T with CY. I hope you have got nouns of these adjectives. We also have solutions or nouns of these adjectives. You can see, students, here the first one is decent, so we eliminated T and add CY suffix, so it becomes decency. Secret becomes secrecy, intricate becomes intricacy. You can see we have just eliminated T and E, not only the T. Frequent becomes frequency, competent becomes competency, illiterate becomes illiteracy, emergent becomes emergency, vacant becomes vacancy, and delicate becomes delicacy. By removing certain suffixes from adjectives, we can make nouns. Sometimes we remove a suffix like ing, d, ed, full, less, or y from an adjective to form a noun. You can see we have, first of all, the suffix y and adjective storm. We will just eliminate y to make a noun storm. Another adjective that has y suffix, and we just eliminated y to make it noun, so glossy becomes gloss. Next suffix we are here using, that is full, F-U-L. Now adjective is beautiful, so we just eliminate F-U-L and we will replace I with y. The next one is thoughtful. We just eliminate F-U-L to make a noun with thoughtful, that is only thought. Next suffix we are using L-E-S-S. The adjective is merciless, so we will replace I with y to make a noun, and we will also eliminate L-E-S-S to make the noun mercy. The next adjective is helpless. We will just eliminate or remove L-E-S-S suffix to make a noun help. Next suffix we are dealing with, that is OUS or EOUS. So the first adjective is beauteous. In this adjective we will eliminate OUS and replace E with Y. So beauteous becomes beauty. Next adjective is melodious. We will replace I with Y and eliminate OUS suffix to make a noun melody. The next one is ing suffix. Mostly you have seen the present participle form of the verb like sleeping, but we also use this suffix to make adjectives. You can see the first adjective is charming. Now we will just eliminate ing to make a noun charm, so charming becomes charm. Same like that, we will replace ing with e to make a noun care through adjective caring. The last but not least suffix we are using here, ed. The first adjective of this suffix is bearded. Now we will eliminate ed to make a noun beard, and the next one, interested, becomes interest. Whenever you are trying to convert adjectives into noun, you just keep in your mind that word that ends with suffix ing or ed, you are just taking an adjective, not a present participle or past participle form of the verb. Now, another question for you students. Form nouns from given adjective. Here is a table in front of you. There are some adjectives. Think about that, and it is like your assessment. Think about that for a while and try to find out the nouns of these given adjectives. Almost all types of rules you have learned in this lesson. Now it is the time to check yourself that how much have you learned. Now we have the solution of that exercise 2. You can see here is adjective. First one, dusty. Here we will eliminate y and replace it with I, so it becomes dustiness. Same like that. Next one is gloomy. Gloomy becomes gloominess. Grassy becomes grass. We here eliminate y to make a noun. Wondrous becomes wonder. Dirty becomes dirtiness. Here we have just replaced y with I and add NESS. Guilty becomes guiltiness. Stony becomes stone. Here we eliminate or replace y with e, so it becomes a noun stone. Joyous becomes joyousness. In here, the word joyous, we have joyousness, but you can also eliminate ous to make another noun, that is joy. Next adjective is successful. We will here remove ful suffix to make a noun success. Harmful becomes harmfulness. Here you just can remove ful to make another noun, that is harm. Another adjective is dutiful. Here are two ways to make it noun. In first, you can just write NESS at the end of the word dutiful, so it will become dutifulness. You can also eliminate ful and replace I with y to make another noun, that is duty. Next adjective is bearded. You will just eliminate ed to make it noun, that is beard. Next adjective is revengeful. Here we will just remove ful to make it noun, that is revenge. Next adjective is painful. Here we will just remove ful suffix to make it noun, that is pain. Next adjective is helpful. We can write in both ways. We can just add NESS suffix to make it noun, that is helpfulness. We can also just eliminate ful suffix to make it noun, like help. Next one is concern. We will just eliminate ed to make it noun, that is concern. Next adjective is heartless. Here we will just remove LESS suffix to make it noun, heart. Next one is thankless. We can just add NESS suffix to make it noun, so it becomes thanklessness. Next one is jobless. Here we will also use NESS suffix to make it joblessness. Here we also can remove just LESS suffix to make it noun, that becomes job. Next one is furious. You can just write to make it noun, furiousness, by adding NESS suffix. Next one is penniless. You can just eliminate LESS and replace I with y to make it noun, that is penny. Next word is friendless. You can just add NESS suffix to make it noun, friendlessness. The other way to make it noun, you will just eliminate LESS suffix to make it noun, like friend. Next one is lifeless. Here you are also two ways to make it noun. You will just add NESS suffix to make it noun, so it will become lifelessness. Another way, you will just eliminate LESS suffix to make it life. The next adjective is packed. You will just here remove ed suffix to make it noun, that is pack. The next one is promising. In this adjective, you will just eliminate ing suffix to make it noun and add e to make it noun. So promising becomes promise. Next one is interesting. You will just eliminate ing to make it noun, that will become interest. Next one is appealing. Here you will just eliminate ing suffix to make it noun, that will become appeal from appealing. Appealing is an adjective and appeal is a noun. The next one is monstrous. Here you can just eliminate ous suffix and add e, and here is a little bit change of spelling. So you will make a noun monster from adjective monstrous. So students, I hope you have learned the lesson formation of nouns from adjective nicely. I hope it will be very helpful for you. Allah Hafiz.